It's another example of the government biting off more than it can chew. In recent months, there's been a lot of concern with regards to the automakers and trying to rework deals with some of their bondholders and those people to whom the car makers owe money, and trying to get them to settle in hopes that we can save the car makers. Well, Chrysler had a cutoff of yesterday to get their act in order. And there was a lot of talk and dealing with their alliance with Fiat in Italy. But a lot of the news has been sneaking out deals with the notion that there are some bondholders and some investors that were not going to take the government's basically dole out of trying to resettle and reset Chrysler's debt. And these particular investors are basically being vilified for not playing along, almost to the point of being accused of being against national interest. Now, if one's going to invest one's money, one should have the right to invest it as one pleases. It's not up to the government to tell them whether or not they should take pennies on the dollar just to save the government's hide. You see, the accusation was that these investors were planning on benefiting from the government money that was being given to Chrysler. The money goes to Chrysler, and Chrysler can then give it to them, in hopes that they're basically trying to profit from Chrysler's downfall. Wait a second here. It wouldn't even be an issue if the government had stayed out and allowed Chrysler several months ago to get their act in order, as opposed to trying to come up with some rush job. Chrysler has filed for bankruptcy protection, and they're saying it's hopefully going to be a quick one, maybe 30 to 60 days. Is that enough time for them to get their ducks in order? If Chrysler was allowed to have done their bankruptcy protection months ago, they would have time to come up with some organized plan. In fact, isn't that what the government wanted? Was some kind of orderly restructuring? It's not what they're going to get. They're going to try to make a hash of it and do it all very quickly, and hope that they could sucker some of the bondholders, some of these companies' creditors, into kind of waving off the money that's owed to them. Certainly, if that was going to be the case, they would never have loaned the money to begin with. And where it gets it for me, as a teacher, I pay into teacher retirement. Is my teacher retirement fund one of these creditors that's being vilified because they won't settle for pennies on the dollar? Am I going to have to work 3, 4, 5, 10 extra years just to be able to keep the same retirement that other people have been told, well, just write it off because it's good for the country? Well, I'm not that altruistic.